welcome to the Raising Amazing Tween Girls Show. I'm Lisa Tony with GirlTribe Nation, and I am so very glad that you are joining me. It is so good to be in 2021, isn't it? Oh man, we are thankful that 2020 is in the past and we have a new start in front of us. I love the New Year's. I absolutely love January because it's just a clean slate. It's a fresh start. It's a new opportunity. And so we can get rid of all the old and say hello to the new. It's a perfect time to reevaluate maybe some of the things that we did in 2020 that we didn't love about ourselves and how we can set some new goals. Now, not only is that great for us to set new goals as mamas, but it's also great for us to set goals for our families and help our girls learn how to set goals as tweens. So we're going to be talking all this month about goal setting and what that looks like, what the benefits are, how to do it in an effective way, what are not effective ways to set goals, and how we can see setting goals can really lead to building a lot of wonderful attributes in ourselves and in our tween girls. So thank you for joining me, and we're going to dive in and talk today about why and how setting goals with tweens is valuable. Well, what are some of the goals that you have set for this year? Do you set New Year's resolutions? I really hate to call them that because once we screw up, we feel like, that's it. It's over. We haven't filled our New Year's resolutions, so we're going to quit trying. But I love really setting new goals because if we, for some reason, don't feel like we're accomplishing our goal, we can always go back and look at it again, tweak it, adjust it, fix it, and figure out what is happening in our hot heads and in our hearts and our lifestyle that is impairing us from reaching that goal. Now, goals are something that are really important. They can make or break the difference between a successful person. Setting goals is something that gives you focus. And when you have focus, that gives you direction, that gives you vision, that gives you something to look forward to and really wrap your hands around and say, yes, this is what I want to go after. This is what I want to accomplish. So I'm a big believer in goals. I've always set them, and I set goals in lots of different patterns. I set them sometimes for a year goal. I set them for a monthly goal. Sometimes I even set them for daily goals. So we're going to be talking about different kinds of goals and how to fulfill those and how they can really help to propel your life in the direction that you want to go. So as we think about goal setting, I really want you to think about, as you think about the goals that you're going to set, about what you want to accomplish. What is it with this goal that you're trying to do? Now, I know sometimes we just set really big goals for ourselves, like, oh, I need to lose weight, or I need to exercise more, or I need to be kinder with my words, or I need to not lose my temper, or I need to watch less Netflix, or whatever it is. And those are all good goals, but they tend to be really big, and it can be overwhelming to know how to accomplish them. And so I want you to think about, as we learn to set goals, what it is you want to accomplish, because that's going to help us focus in on reaching that accomplishment. So if what you want to accomplish is that you want to lose weight, then we're going to need to set a goal that is going to help you to accomplish what you are looking for, kind of keeping the end game in mind. Now, when we set goals, and especially when we help our kids as tweens set goals, I want you to think about why this is so important. Did you ever set a goal when you were a kid? Or did anyone ever talk to you about that? I don't really remember talking about goals very much when I was a kid. It really wasn't until I got into high school that kind of idea kind of started to surface, and I kind of grabbed hold of it and ran with it. But what happens when we help our kids set goals is it helps to build courage in them. And this is why, because sometimes kids can get overwhelmed, and this really leads to a lot of their stress and anxiety. But when they know that they've got a goal that has been set for them, and that they start to see the ability for them to accomplish it, it starts to build courage in them. So setting goals is something that gives us focus. It can help us accomplish something, but it also builds courage. It can do that in you and I as moms too, that it can build our courage that we can do something differently than what we did last year, or maybe even something differently than what is the history of our family. Do you ever feel yourself doing something that your parents did and you catch yourself and you're like, I was never going to do that. How did that just come out of my mouth? I've had that happen when you swore you were never going to say that or do that. And so when we can set a goal to accomplish a behavior, like I want my behavior to be really kind and really patient. I don't want to overreact. Well, then I need to back it up and figure out how to set goals to do that. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this series this month as we continue the progress of building plans and pathways to building goals. Now, one thing, especially as you're talking about goals with your tweens, that I really want to focus with you on is helping to prevent overwhelm, because kids can get so overwhelmed when you want them to accomplish a new task. Now, I have 4 kids and they all practice the piano in the morning, and I'm their piano teacher. And so it's really important to me that they have just a few minutes each day that they do this. But I have to tell you, my most unfavorite day is the day that we start a brand new lesson, because the kids are just completely overwhelmed. All of them. They're frustrated, they're exasperated, they get mad at me, I get frustrated with them. We can't remember what the names of the notes are. I mean, it's just chaos some days. And so I really have this goal of wanting them to be able to read music and be able to play the piano just a little bit. They don't need to be able to perform in Carnegie Hall, but I think it's good for their brains, and I like what music does to help them. So I really have to get through that day of new lesson. That is a hard day for me, and I get really overwhelmed. And so I've really had to come up with some ways to break this process down to prevent overwhelm. So our goal that we want to accomplish is 2 songs a week that we're working on. And I've had to really back it up and say, you know what? I can't teach them both songs in the same day. It's too much for them. And so once I've been able to let go of that, and I've been able to recognize and zero in on what is building that stress and that anxiety in both of us, then I can say, why do we do it this way? Do we need to do it this way? We don't need to do it this way. So now I've just backed up and we do 1 song one day. And then once they've got that, day 2 goes so much better. I can introduce the other song. And we've got some confidence that has been built by learning a little bit of that first song. Now, the same is true with any goal that you're setting, whether it's that we want to have better manners at the table, or we want to have some new chores that we're assigning that everybody is going to work on. Whatever those goals are, we want to prevent overwhelm. Now, one of the ways that you can talk about your kids with this is the idea of a puzzle. I love this idea because whenever I talk to people about setting goals, it can just be like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. It seems so big. But if you can imagine writing the word on a big puzzle and then taking the pieces apart, then that becomes one of our jobs and our opportunities as moms, is to figure out how we can help our kids see that those are different puzzle pieces and that they can each come apart. And when they work on different sections of it, it can all come together to form a beautiful goal. That we work on one thing at a time. For example, our kids needed to do a better job of brushing their teeth. We went to the dentist. Some of our kids were doing great. Some of our kids were not doing great. So they gave us the big 2-minute lecture. You gotta brush your teeth for 2 minutes. And we tried for a while. We tried all kinds of things. Brush your teeth this way and this way and this way. Sing songs, sing songs. It wasn't working. So we finally decided to come up with a playlist of 2-minute songs. And so now they get to pick a song to brush their teeth, and they have to brush their teeth listening to the playlist. And they get to take turns choosing the song that they're going to brush their teeth with. So that's part 1 of breaking it down and finding out ways to help them get a win, to prevent that overwhelm from accomplishing what our goal is better teeth brushing habits. So when we have our goal, better teeth brushing habits, or playing 2 new piano songs a week, Then we start bringing in the different puzzle pieces and moving them around. And I like the idea of a puzzle because, sometimes you get that puzzle piece and you think it fits in one section, but then you got to spin the piece around and maybe it connects in a different way. Well, that's what we have to do with the different pieces of putting our goal together to accomplish the purpose for which it's intended. So I want to encourage you with that as you start thinking about goals this month, for this year, as a way to break it down, both for yourself and for your tween. I have a very special download that I want to give to you to help you through this process of learning about goals and setting goals, both for yourself and for your tween daughter. So you can download this for completely free by going to girltribenation.com/goals. There you'll have this download that is a worksheet that's going to help you work through the process of setting goals, how to track them, how to use SMART goal strategy, and set you up for success in learning about goals, teaching goals to your daughter, and putting some goals into practice. So make sure you download that cheat sheet. It's going to be really helpful to you as you navigate this process of goal setting. Next week, we're going to dive in a little bit more and talk more specifically about how you can set up SMART goals for yourself, for your family, and for your tween. I can't wait to see you then. Thanks so much for joining me now. And remember, we are all about raising tween girls to be smart, healthy, brave, and live with a whole lot more happy in their lives. Thanks for joining me at GirlTribe Nation. We'll see you next time.